S-A-M-B-E-R-G.
Folks, this is Joe Sanberg. You just spelled his name out, actually. But Joe, first of all, great to meet you. Welcome.
Great to meet you, too.
Tell my viewers about what you're doing with respect to the funding issue that Dwayne Ballman talked about.
Yeah, you bet.
Sure.
You bet. Well, I grew up in poverty. My mom raised me by herself in Orange County, and we lost our home to foreclosure when I was a teenager. And it just taught me from a young age that this idea that if you work hard and play by the rules, everything will work out okay, isn't always true. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would get the federal earned income tax credit, which is a cashback wage subsidy for low-income workers. And about 5 years ago, as I was thinking about how there are just so many more Californians living paycheck to paycheck than when I was growing up, I realized California is one of the states that didn't have an earned income tax credit on the state level. So 5 years ago, I led a lobbying campaign to get California to create a state earned income tax credit. And now in the last 4 years, we've expanded that state earned income tax credit to reach over 2 million Californians. And the nonprofit I started, which operates under Cal EITC for me, helps about 2 million low-income Californians every year get about $3 billion of state and federal earned income tax credits they otherwise wouldn't get. And what they do with those tax credits is pay for 3 meals instead of 2 meals a day for their kids, buy clothes for back to school season, catch up on their utilities, pay rent. The reality, unfortunately, is that too many people are working multiple jobs and they still can't afford life's basic needs. Almost 8 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And unfortunately, we tell so many of those people that they're middle class, but when you're living paycheck to paycheck, life doesn't feel anything like middle class. And when 8 out of 10 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, we don't have a middle class, so we have a poverty crisis. And my mission in life is I want to end poverty. Poverty defined as the 8 out of 10.
I'll join that mission right here.
Well,
let me shake your hand.
The problem is, here's the problem where we've fallen short on fighting poverty. We've stopped trying.
Yeah, we have.
When I say I want to end poverty, people ridicule me and say I'm idealistic and unrealistic, right? And one of the things I think often about is my favorite Dr. King speech, Unfulfilled Dreams, which he gave in March of 1968. And in Unfulfilled Dreams, he said, one of the great agonies of life is we are constantly trying to finish that which is unfinishable.
Yeah.
We are commanded to do that. And when it comes to questions like ending poverty, ending racism, closing the gender wage gap, well, they might seem like unfinishable tasks. We'll never have a chance to finish them if we don't try. And so we have to at least try to end poverty.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How do you think we should fund that effort? My thought was that we needed a value-added tax, or what some people would call a consumption tax, which really would raise like $384 billion in one shot under one scenario. But I'm curious to, what your thoughts are on that and other underfunding mechanisms, other ways to make this happen.
Well, the way I think we ought to fund programs that make work pay better and frankly make basic needs like healthcare more affordable are primarily by taxing big corporations more. In the individual tax system, the richer you are, the higher your tax rate. But in the corporate tax system, that's not the case. There's one tax rate for all corporations. That doesn't make sense. There ought to be a higher tax rate for corporations that make tens of billions of dollars. Why is it fair that the business that earns a couple $100,000 of profit pays the same income tax rate as the business that earns a couple tens of billions of dollars of profit? And so if we made big corporations that are earning plenty of profit pay their fair share, we'd have a lot of money to make work pay better and make basic needs more affordable for working Americans. That's what I think we ought to do.
Is there a website for your effort by chance?
Yeah, please go to workinghero.org and sign up so we can stay in touch.
Hey man, thanks a lot. Great interview too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.